So I was doing my first aid recertification over the weekend. Don't mind this position, by the way. This is a super low effort production. But I was doing my first aid recertification over the weekend. This time I was doing it with Red Cross instead of other agencies. Historically, I've done it with St. John's Ambulance, and then when I was in high school, I don't remember the company I did it with. But this time I did it with Red Cross. And the thing about Red Cross is you have to do an online course. So there's an online component that you have to complete before coming to class. And I kind of like that approach actually, because the online component teaches you more like theory and like, you know, the idea behind first aid and goes over some of the material. And so class is mostly just like a refresher and an opportunity to do things like hands on. So class is more practical. Class is more like doing things. Class is more like doing, CPR on the CPR dummies and tying slings and splints. So it was a lot more interesting, a lot more hands on, a lot more engaging. Not as many PowerPoint presentations or tutorial videos, which has been the modus operandi of like previous first aid training courses. And the thing about those is it's super easy to get complacent and cozy, and just settle into the back of the room and nod along and say, "Yeah, I know what to do. This is so easy." And that's the problem with tutorial videos about first aid. It's all just a demonstration. You just watch, you don't actually do. And first aid is all about doing. So I kind of like Red Cross's approach to this. Also, it harkens back to my university days where you had to do your readings before coming to class. Something that I routinely struggled with, admittedly, but I still graduated. My brother just stepped out of the house. I think I don't know where he's going. He's been home for the past couple of days because he recently got laid off from his job as a law clerk. I mean, it's not. Being laid off is never really a good thing, but part of him is actually kind of glad he got laid off because he didn't really like the company that he was working for. And so being laid off kind of forced him to rethink his career path. So, funny enough, he's actually doing the same program that I did during the pandemic. So, in 2020, when the pandemic first broke out, I was in my final year of university. I wanted to do a year of college afterwards. So my year of college took place entirely during the pandemic. Mercifully, my program could be done fully remote. There was a work term, but that could also be done remote. I mean, everybody was working remote during that time. So I wasn't that affected by the pandemic, at least. So he's actually doing that program now in the hopes that he'll be able to find a job. I guess he just looks at me and sees that I'm still employed. But to be honest, I think I'm employed because I got hired by a good employer, not necessarily because my skill set is really high in demand. I mean, like, my program is technical communications, and I frequently have to explain to people what it's about. And I mean, ever since ChatGPT took the world by storm, I have been frequently asked, is AI going to replace it? Probably. Oh, that's the other thing that's been taking the world by storm. The new Studio Ghibli AI anime art thingy that Hayao Miyazaki absolutely hates. I've talked about AI art in the past on this channel. I think I talked more about the censorship aspect. I'm going to talk more about the philosophical aspect. Um, Art has been a thing for like tens of thousands of years. Like the earliest humans who walked this planet made art. We have like cave art from like tens of thousands of years old, and some of them using like techniques that we still use today, like negative hand imprints, where you put your hand over like the canvas or like a rock or a wall, and then you spray paint around it, and then when you remove your hand, it leaves like a negative handprint. That's a technique that people tens of thousands of years old used. And like the thing is, there's nothing about creating art that is uniquely necessary for survival. Like it's not like gathering food or finding water or caring for the sick, but it's still something that pretty much every human culture on this planet has recognized as something that's not optional. Like throughout an entire history as a species, we have seen art, like the act of creating art, as something that's not like optional. And the thing about art that makes it so attractive to us is that there's a human connection to it. Like if you look at those old cave drawings, you're not just seeing a bunch of art on the walls. Like that's easy to recreate. In fact, there have been caves that have been closed to the public to preserve those cave drawings, and they've created like exact replicas of those drawings elsewhere for tourists to go into, but it doesn't have the same feeling to it because it doesn't have a direct link to the people who created that art like tens of thousands of years old. Like we all know it's a recreation, but it's just a recreation is not the same. Open up Spotify or your favorite music streaming app. Like you have to have like an artist that you're interested in, or like a song that you're interested in, or like an album that you listen on repeat. Like something that you are attracted to, something that you like, something that jives with you. Like what makes that piece of music so attractive to you? And for a lot of people, it's the artist. Like if you like an album, if you like a song, you probably like the album, you probably like the artist who created it. And and like this has been a thing for like a very long time. Why else do you see concerts selling out? Why else do you see like tours like attracting millions of dollars in economic growth? Like think of Taylor Swift's Eras tour. Like it's significant enough to fill economic textbooks. Like what causes that? And it's the human connection between what is created, so like the created art, and the artist who created it and the fans who enjoy it. There's a human connection there. And that's the thing that AI art just doesn't have. It's not created by humans. It doesn't have the human connection. It's about as touching as stuff on a stock photo website or that's probably why AI is taking off, isn't it? I mean, a huge part of stock photo websites is to have a repository of images that can essentially blend into the background, that are as uncontroversial and perhaps unremarkable as possible. Now, you might be thinking, well, if AI art is just being used for those images that are meant to be background decorations that no one's gonna look at anyways, what's the point? What's the threat to artists? And like the threat to artists is more of a cultural perception one, in that if people don't value the work, the time, and the effort that human artists invest into creating things, and just sees it as, well, we can just replace us all with AI, and just dismissing and diluting the work that we have invested into creating things that we are very passionate about and that fans are very passionate about and that has a strong human connection, and replacing it with soulless, humanless AI creations. Like if if people's perceptions of like art is that it's just a commodity that can be listed on a stock photo website, and who cares if it's AI created, and we don't need to respect the people who create it. We don't need to respect the people who spend like hours of their life like doing this. If we lose sight that art is a huge part of the human experience, what does that say about us as a species if we're replacing uniquely human connections with AI generated sludge? And yeah, I do have strong opinions about AI generated art because a lot of the times it's awfully conspicuous when AI art was used, and it usually garners a lot of criticism. Okay, I've already spent way too much time recording this video. I'm already at 11 minutes and I try to keep these videos at around 5 minutes, so I have already failed. So I'm just gonna call it right here. Goodbye.